Hey guys, a little daily dose of Dr. Deuce of Truth for you. How are you? Memorial Day weekend. I thought I'd throw one in here. People aren't around, they're out having fun doing things. Things are starting to open up. I think that's great. I was talking to my sister today. She said, "How's your business going?" I go, "Good." She goes, "What's it all about? Who's your target market?" And she's not from the business world, so I was kind of surprised she knew the term target market. I said, "Well, people, my membership group for MTFU longevity is anywhere from 18 years of age. Then we have John Bubb out in England, famous bodybuilder. He used to compete against Arnold. He's 85. So, it's a wide spectrum. But when you talk about longevity, which is my business, what does longevity mean? In my thrust, it's aging without getting older. What does that mean? Well, the paradigm in society generally is you get older, you're less useful, you're less viable, you're more broken down, you don't look as good, everything hurts, you have a lot of degeneration, you're haggard, the gravity's pulling you down, you feel like hell, and you're just kind of playing out the string, and that's it. And you're not maybe as valued in society. That's not a good thing. It doesn't have to happen. We've seen plenty of examples of people in their 70s and 80s doing 20 or 40 pull-ups and running marathons and exceeding themselves and beating the tar out of people decades younger. Now, I'm not surprised when that happens. I complimentary, but not overly so, because I think that's the way it should be. And I think it could be for everyone, because we have people doing it now. They are humans like us. We just have to kind of live the way they do. So the question comes up recently, and often, Dr. Dusa, what should I do? Preparing my food, measuring my food. Should I measure it raw, as in uncooked, or cooked? Well, I keep it kind of simple. If you look back what me and people like Lance Stranahan and John DeFendis did way back in the day, we'd look at a can of tuna and say, 30 grams of protein, that's fine. Or we maybe measure our chicken breast by the size of the palm of our hand, and we kind of, ballpark it at 40 grams. And, things worked out. Would they have worked out better if I leveraged all the information I have now? If I had it back then, of course, I would have been better. I would have exceeded myself. Lance as well. Defendus, maybe not. He was one of the all-time greats, and he kind of did things. He was on point no matter what. But so what do you do? Well, if you're looking at rice, for instance, keep it real simple. What do? Use a little scooper, like this little cup. And we also have a weighing scale that I use in the kitchen, and a lot of people have these. You pick them up at the grocery store, relatively cheap. They could be, manual or digital. But let's talk about rice. Maybe rice, oats, grains, things like that. I would say it's best to weigh those uncooked, only because, well, think about it. If you take a scoop of rice and you weigh it, you take another scoop of rice and weigh it again. Will it weigh the same? Probably not, even though it's the same scooper. Only because rice is irregularly shaped. It's not fit in here compact. It's not like a solid. So you may have that variance right there. Does it make a difference? Well, like Lance and I were talking about today, it's kind of like a budget. If you go beyond your daily budget, you're gonna have a shortfall of money for the month, and that's never good. It's the same thing with calories. If you're taking in too many and you're supposed to be burning a certain amount, and that's well metered in the program you're following, yet you're getting more than you think you're getting, well, what's going to happen? If you have an increase of 100 calories a day coming from somewhere only because you're a little sloppy in your measuring, or you're just not on point with everything, well, that's over 3,000 calories for the month. It's close to a pound, and if you're not accounting for that through a calorie deficit, you're going to gain weight. And for people who are just starting out, that's incredibly discouraging, and it leads to quitting. So I think it's more important when you're just starting out to be exacting with the numbers that have been ordained for you to follow as far as your nutritional equivalents. So going back to this right here, you probably want to prepare this by weighing it beforehand without cooking it, because the water, when you add it and you cook it, increases the volume of what you have in front of you, and you may not be able to eat all of it because it makes the rice expand. There seems like there's more nutritionally as far as calories. There's not. So you want to your grains, your oats, your rice. You want to measure that without cooking it. What do you cook? Looking at most meats, and potatoes is a very good example. Take a baked potato. You take a nice 8-ounce baked potato. You throw it in the microwave or the oven. It comes out. It's a little smaller. It might be wrinkled. You've wrung the water out of it. So now there's the weight. It's no longer 8 ounces. Maybe it's 5 or 6 ounces. Same thing with meat. Look at chicken now. You see some chicken breasts out there. They're like dinosaur size. It's a pleasant thought getting all that meat, but that's not how. That's not naturally how chickens grow, and that's not very healthy. And manufacturers, who knows what they're doing? They're injecting water, chemicals, steroids to get more meat, to get more bang for the buck, to get more out of the chicken, sell more. What's that mean for you? Well, you're going to cook that, and you're going to wring a lot of that water out of it, and whatever other liquids are in there, and you're going to have a much a much smaller product. So if you're weighing it beforehand, and plus, you're putting, kind of slimy chicken on your plate and on your scale, it's a lot of cleaning there and whatnot, and that's another issue, kind of off the side. But again, you want to take all of your meats and cook them, and your potatoes as well, and you want to weigh them after the cooking, and then your numbers are most accurate. Again, you don't want to be like a patient I had many years ago, and I told her to weigh your oats and however many grams it was, and she'd be there in the morning and she'd be taking each fleck of oats off her scale until the little dial hit the number I told her to get. That's how you break up families and cause divorces and cause insanity. That's a little over the top. But again, until you learn how your body works, I think you do have to be as exacting as possible. Now, there are some references online, some online resources that will give you lists of foods and their nutritional equivalents, calories, carbohydrates, fats, proteins, things like that. The problem is, it's interesting. You'll see different resources giving you different numbers for the same foods. How can that be? I mean, to find out exactly what is in a foodstuff as far as all those nutritional equivalents in the lab, you have to use something called a bomb calorimeter. You put the food in there, and there's a process it goes through, and it's it's very technical, which we don't really get here. But to really find out what's in that foodstuff, you have to use something like that. Like we were saying, a half cup of rice is about 20 grams of carbs. A whole cup of rice is about 40 grams of carbs. And once you learn your body and you learn what your body responds to and how it works, you can go with that. You're going to get the result that you want. But until you learn what your body responds to, and you get to a good level of physicality, and you're engendering good health through these consistent actions, I would say come as close as possible to the numbers that have been laid out for you by your trainer or your doctor or whomever, and follow that consistently and chart your progress. Remember, if you're off somewhat each day, you could be off by 100 calories. It's very easy. Let's say you're on a 2,200 calorie per day program, and you're off 80 or 100 calories or 120 calories. That can easily, after a month, add up to 3,500 calories that are unaccounted for, and you're not getting any results, and it's very frustrating, and you quit. But it's usually not that. Listen, I've heard plenty of people say, no matter what I do, I can't get any results. Usually it's not a glandular problem. It's not an intestinal dysfunction. Usually it's something you're not doing correctly. So get on the right course. Find someone who could help you. Find the right resources. I hope that was kind of helpful. So I do think at this point I don't measure too much. I kind of eyeball things. It works for me. Hey, Steve, how are you, man? No problem. I'm here to help and offer information and to learn as well. I hope everything's going well for you. But that's it. This now streams right onto YouTube as well as right here on my profile page. We're going to stream on more. I'm going to put up the videos I did of all the top professionals from the past 2 weeks. Tomorrow night we have, Monday night we have Joey Fulco and his very famous musical family, his former Teenage Mr. USA. Then we got a lot of other top pros and fitness figures and professionals coming to tell us all about their ideas of engendering exceptional longevity and how it can help you. So I hope you have a great day. Thank you. This was unannounced. Happy Memorial Day to you, Steve, and happy Memorial Day and happy days every day. Don't just wait for Memorial Day to be happy. Try to be happy every single day, or at least find a little bit of time each day to be happy. I do, because I'm down sometimes, but I always work. I'm mindful of breaking through. Because what do we say? We say, all will be well, and I do thank you. Let me know what you think, and I'll talk to you again soon, tomorrow. Have a great day.